They're moderate. I don't even think they even are Republican, to be honest with you. I think they're just moderate independents that are trying to do what's right. I've never asked them about their political affiliation, which shouldn't matter, by the way.
Right.
If you just go in there, it should be bipartisan, do what's right for the group as a whole, not just your own echo chamber. And that's the problem with a lot of these school boards is these school board members are only listening and doing policy according to their very small echo chamber, like with the boys using girls' locker rooms and restrooms and men competing in women's sports. I mean, we can go on and on with the insanity, but you can't take away constitutional rights and freedoms of the majority of people for just the rights and freedoms of the small. This doesn't work that way.
And beyond that, it's not good for teaching kids. It doesn't help the kids. If you came in with one of these things and say, hey, this is really going to be best for kids and X, okay, you're going to have parents who go, well, maybe I'm okay with it. But it doesn't help a kid to hide stuff from the kid's parents. But importantly, there are a group of people in Rochester and elsewhere who they don't believe that. They believe that the person who knows best is them. Is the government. The government knows best. The government can tell you how to help your kids. And we had this happen when we had our debate over our health clinic in Northville. And they would stand up and say, well, what if a kid thinks they need such and such a service and the parents refuse? So parents refuse. The kid's 13 years old. Parents get to decide that, not you. You don't get to supplement or supplant the judgment of a parent. And it doesn't help kids. It put kids in this terrible situation where they're getting one rule at school and one rule at home. And those are terrible situations. And that's what leads to a lot of the problems that we have.
And Matt, you're spot on. I mean, if our public school system wasn't a dumpster fire right now and kids were thriving, right? Reading and math test scores were through the roof. I don't think a lot of these parents would have anything to stand on because they're like, the kids are thriving. So obviously their policies and the way they're doing things and the things that they're teaching are working. We all should be on board on that. But the opposite is happening. They're crashing. I mean, I just read a Detroit News article the other day that reading scores at a 10-year low for Michigan. The M-STEP scores show math is low. And I want to bring up this graph right now because what the Democrats tend to do is they just want to throw money at it. Okay. And this graph right here shows,
I love it. Yep.
The spending per achievement adjusted for inflation. So obviously we don't have a money problem, right? No. And there's another graph that I could show, but it shows that a lot of these, the spending is not going towards the kids. It's going to the administrators and it's not going to the teachers.
That's right. That's right.
That's where the teacher's like, we need to be paying more. And the majority of the parents would be like, absolutely, you deserve it. And the teacher unions are like, yay, and they run with it. But none of that money goes to the teachers. It goes to the gosh darn administrators.
That's right. That's right. You look at teachers and you look at two things that are very important. Teacher salaries have not gone up. Teacher to student ratio has gotten worse over the last 10 years. Maybe that's why you're not being able to teach the kids. But administrator to teacher ratio is through the roof. We once did an analysis of our district compared to Detroit public schools. We tried to keep it pretty lean in Northville. We really looked at trying to not hire any administrators when I was on the board. That reversed in 2020 when I left. But they had something like 10 times the administrators we did. So back a few years ago, there was something called the School Finance Research Collaborative, which was this big study. And people walked around and said, this is what proves that we need more money for schools. And I would always ask people, did you read it? Did you read it? Because if you read it, you would find that money, they're not recommending that money go to teachers. It's specifically excluded in the analysis. What they want is more administrators. They want more assistant principals. They want more coordinators, DEI coordinators. We need more of those. In my local district, we hired somebody for $170,000 a year, and no one can figure out what she does for a living.